The bridge was nothing like Iris's compact cockpit. It was wide and deep, designed for a crew of dozens, with a viewport that wrapped 3/4 of the way around the forward section and currently showed the wormhole at a distance that made Walter's chest feel strange, close enough now to see its true scale, which was immense. Sarah took the captain's chair with the ease of someone returning to a thing that had always been hers. The crew, those who hadn't ascended, those who had come out of stasis to take their stations, moved through the bridge with quiet efficiency, the practiced synchronization of people who had trained together for years before a journey and were now arriving at the thing they'd trained for. Walter's seat was to Sarah's right. It had his name on it, not his full name, just Walter. In the old language, in characters he'd learned to read from the archive documents. Someone had prepared it. He didn't ask when. He sat down. "Are you afraid?" Sarah asked him, not looking up from her console. Walter looked at the wormhole, at the absolute zero stillness of it, at the door that physics said couldn't exist, that had been calling humanity home for longer than humanity had known it was lost. "Yes," he said. "Good," Sarah said. "Fear means you understand the scale of what's happening." She looked at him then. "So do I. So does everyone on this ship." A pause. "It doesn't change what we do." Walter nodded, gripped the armrests. "Take us in, Graham," Sarah said. The wormhole didn't look like anything when you entered it. That was the first surprise, that it looked like nothing, like a threshold so complete that passing through it registered as absence rather than event. One moment there was the galactic core blazing through the viewport, ancient and enormous and real. Then there was a stillness that had no duration. Then the being that had once been a survey engineer named Walter Hess became aware of itself slowly, the way all the others did, assembled from the dispersing edges of an experience so complete and so long that the process of ending it required time. They, all of them, existed for a moment in the full awareness of what they were. A single consciousness, ancient and vast, one that had, at some point so long ago that the memory of it was more like a texture than a fact, decided to know itself more fully, to understand experience from the inside, to divide its awareness into thousands of individual points of light, each one sent into a carefully constructed reality, a planet, a star, a galaxy, a universe of sufficient complexity to generate genuine surprise and to live there fully, without memory of what they were. To be born, and to struggle, and to hope, and to build, and to reach toward the stars with the particular beautiful desperation of beings who believed they were finite. To be human. The simulation had run for longer than its architects had anticipated. The humans had been more than expected. More creative, more stubborn, more reaching, more connected to each other in ways that generated experiences no single vast consciousness could have produced alone. They had surprised themselves, they had surprised everything. The ark had been the door. The wormhole had been the threshold. And now the points of awareness that had lived as Walter and Sarah and Davin and Reed and Thomas and Oren and Dr. Yara Osman all began to merge, a singular consciousness pulling itself back together. Other simulations had run alongside theirs in the same universe, their points of awareness interacting, colliding, building lives together without ever knowing what the other truly was, each one whole in itself, each one returning only to itself when the time came, and for the individuals of the absolute zero, it had come. All of it gathered, all of it home. The last thing that was distinctly Walter before it dissolved peacefully into something larger and older and more complete was a small, specific, entirely human thought. I should have brought more coffee. And then even that was warmth, and the warmth was everything, and the everything was complete. Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed the experience. Thank you for following Walter's journey. Share this story with someone who needs to be reminded we were never lost, just taking the long way home.